This is coming from a Wall Street Journal article by Kim Strassel that says, well, this is how the Supreme Court is actually intervening. Hey, this judge was wrong. Well, it actually is saying, no, you guys aren't playing by the rules. For example, anti-Trump judges have issued injunctions based in courts or coming out of courts that are nowhere near where the actual crime, quote unquote, is taking place. For example, the Boasberg ruling that came out of DC, the Supreme Court said, no, you can't just venue shop these and say, well, there's more liberal judges in this court, so we're going to do it here. Now, you have to do it in Texas. The Supreme Court said that, and well, that's the case. They've also said jurisdiction matters a lot, which it does. When the Trump administration tried to stop the education department for training teacher grants, it was gone through a district judge in Boston. And the Supreme Court said, well, no, you don't have jurisdiction over this. It's got to go through the Court of Federal Claims. That's kind of a big deal. It also has to do with standing. Whether or not the 16,000 workers that were probationary for the federal government could be fired, well, that injunction was brought by 9 different nonprofits who didn't have standing to bring it in the first place. I think what I'm getting at here ultimately is, imagine this, a buzzer beater at a basketball game. The shot goes up. One side says, no, they didn't get it off before the buzzer. The other side says, no, they did get it off before the buzzer. And the Supreme Court comes in there and says, well, it doesn't really matter. You shot it from out of bounds. Yeah, that's what it is. That's what's going on at the Supreme Court level. So we should know how the Supreme Court is intervening, and how they're doing so is basically telling the courts that are issuing these injunctions, you're not following the rules. It doesn't matter what you think necessarily. If you don't follow the rules, you can't do any of that.
I think the court is making a lot of really great decisions on upholding our forums and making sure that these executive decisions are allowed to go through. And, it doesn't mean they're not stopping all of them. There's definitely some criticisms.